Hello, this is Virtual Autopsy. I just found out about this, got very excited about it, and decided, why not share? This is from the Australian Museum, and I just decided this would be something fun to do to learn about autopsies and human anatomy. Um, I'm not a medical doctor. I'm not a medical examiner. I'm an anthropologist. I'm a bioarchaeologist. I study human remains in the archaeological record, and an archaeogeneticist. I specialize in ancient DNA. But I'm very interested in, how can we create these virtual things as a teaching tool? And I don't know much about autopsies, and I'm very curious. So here's a perfect opportunity to do that. So this is going to be a lot of me reading. And as they indicate here, this does have detailed information about what happens in an autopsy. So, an autopsy is a detailed and careful medical examination of a person's body and its organs after death to help establish the cause of death if, someone dies and the cause of death is not immediately known. This interactive follows the human autopsy process from start to finish, including an external examination, opening the body, viewing internal organs, removing the organs and weighing them, removing the brain, placing all organs, and closing the body. So, there's kind of a list you can read through everything that we're going to do. I'm going to skip over that and go kind of straight in here. We're going to put this in full screen. And then I haven't gone through this before, so let's get started. Begin examination. Step 1, external examination. Select the hot spots to discover what forensic pathologists look for in particular parts of the body and the equipment they use. We have some scalpels back here. Let's start here. Shoulder. The forensic pathologist will examine the skin for any abrasions, cuts, bruises, distinguishing marks, or tattoos on the body. I feel like tattoos especially would be good for identification if the identity of the decedent is unknown. Chest. The forensic pathologist will pay particular attention to the external examination in suspicious deaths, looking at the clothes or paying attention to any unusual smells or odors. Elbow. The forensic pathologist will test for rigor mortis by bending the elbow and knees or opening the jaw to see if they move or not. Fingers. The forensic pathologist will look under the fingernails as valuable forensic information can be trapped there. Autopsy table. Oh, I feel like I should have started with that one. The autopsy table is a waist-high or height-adjustable stainless steel table with running water to facilitate washing away all the blood that is released during the procedure. The autopsy table is a slanted tray for drainage, with raised edges to keep blood and fluids from flowing onto the floor. This is exactly the kind of thing that makes me really glad that when I am working with the deceased, they are fully skeletonized. I have examined some individuals who did have like some dried soft tissue still attached to their bones, but nothing juicy. Leg. The forensic pathologist will look for any lividity, blood pooling to determine the time since death. Lividity can tell the pathologist a lot about the position of the body after death. Yeah, because the blood will kind of pool wherever gravity basically tells it to go. Internal examination. To expose the internal organs, the pathologist must open the body, select which shape the first cut is made in. Kind of going for a wild guess here. I think it's Y. Correct. Alrighty. I feel like I read about why it's a Y-shaped incision, but I really do not remember. I was kind of hoping that I would get to trace that out with my mouse cursor. The first cut, known as the Y incision, is made. The arms of the Y extend from the front of each shoulder to the bottom end of the breastbone. So that would be your sternum. The tail of the Y extends from the sternum to the pubic bone. That's like at the front of your pelvis, essentially, and typically deviates to avoid the navel, your belly button. The incision is very deep, extending to the rib cage on the chest and completely through the abdominal wall below that. The skin from this cut is peeled back, with the top flap pulled over the face. I imagine this is probably where it's gonna maybe get a little gross. Internal organs. Viewing the internal organs. Following the Y incision, the ribs are sawn off to expose the internal organs. The sternal plate or anterior chest wall is cut away to expose the organs underneath. Select each organ to reveal its name. Well, thinking back to college human anatomy and physiology, I'm hoping I would remember the names of these organs. Should have lungs, heart, liver, stomach. I don't. Small intestine and then large intestine. Okay, lungs. I didn't know if this would be separate from the actual lungs. Heart, liver. Oh, kidneys, kind of hiding back there. Stomach, large intestine, small intestine. Removal of organs. Each pathology service has its own autopsy technique. The most common way to remove the organs is known as the Rokitansky method. This involves... Oh, it's a quiz. I'm going to say removing one organ at a time and replacing it before moving on to the next one. That's just what makes the most sense to me. But again, I don't work with soft tissue. Wrong. Okay. Let's try removing all the organs at once. All right. Curious if the... I want to know if they explain why. Removal of organs. Now we have different lighting. The Rokitansky method involves removing the body organs all at once. That is, the heart, lungs, liver, kidneys, and spleen, etc. are removed in one block and then dissected on the autopsy table. Okay. The organs are dissected one by one, and during the examination, the forensic pathologist will collect small samples of tissue for further examination under the microscope. Remove all the organs from the body and place them on the sink area. Okay, so it is click and drag. Ghostly outline of the rib cage, or would be the posterior aspects of the ribs and spinal cord. Kidneys, stomach, and the intestines. Removing the brain. To remove the brain, an incision is made in the back of the scalp from one ear to the other. The scalp is cut and separated from the underlying skull and pulled forward. The top of the skull is removed using a vibrating saw. The entire brain is then gently lifted out of the cranial vault. So again, it did it for us. Okay. The brain is then either cut fresh or is placed in a 20% solution of formalin to fix it for future analysis with the consent of the coroner and the senior next of kin. Examining the organs. All organs except for the intestines and stomach are weighed. I kind of wonder why. I have so many questions. Take the organs that are to be weighed one at a time from the tray to the scales and put the organs in the correct order of weight, lightest to heaviest, back in the sink. Okay. Actually, let's see if I can keep this and just do... do it like this so that I can put them back in the correct order. Did I not do it right? Oh dear. Oh, maybe that's how it wanted to. Still no? Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure what it wanted me to do there, and I didn't realize that clicking there would let me skip that. Returning the organs. Following the examination, organs are returned to the body except for the small fragments of tissue sampled for microscopic examination. The organs are replaced in the body cavities. Sometimes absorbent filler material is used to replace organs that are not returned. The coroner and the senior next of kin will be notified of any organs and/or larger fragments of tissue retained after the examination has been completed. The senior next of kin is asked about preference to return these retained specimens to the body and/or respectful disposal thereof after the investigation has been completed. Okay, so it did all that for us. Sewing up the body. After the pathologist has finished the examination and the organs are returned to the body, the post-mortem technician will sew back up the body. Once the Y incision and the head are sewn up, the autopsy without brain and tissue analysis is complete. Stitching of the incision is like that on a baseball. That's a nice little animation. You have completed an autopsy. So we can do that again, or we can find out more about death. I'm actually going to click that option to see where that goes. Okay. Yeah, kind of what I thought, that it would take us back to, there was a link to this that I saw when I looked at the website a little bit earlier. All right, land acknowledgement. Good deal. Okay. Yeah, well, that was Virtual Autopsy. I thought that was fun. I hope that I've learned some things. I still have some questions, but I hope you learned something too, about the human body, the human anatomy. I think it's really important to learn human anatomy. I found it very useful as an anthropologist, a biological anthropologist especially, who works with human remains. Obviously, I don't really work with soft tissue, but that's why it's fun for me to go and play little games like this. But yeah, I had fun. I hope you had fun too. Thank you for watching.